Can we start though with the biggest talk has been Pedro and Messi saying that he blackballed him from joining the national team. What can you kind of share? Do you know anything about that? What can you kind of share about?
Well, I don't know what they discussed on the field. What I would give you is my feelings on the matter. Players say things to other players in the heat of the moment. And maybe there was something said, oh, you'll never play, or you're not good enough to play, or maybe there could have been something like that. I don't know. But I don't think Messi he's not in charge of the Argentinian national team as far as I'm concerned. So, I think that's a talking point, certainly. The talking point of the whole melee, the frustrations that Miami had, all those are talking points. But I'd bring it right back to, why was he upset? Messi was upset because Pedro was having a good game. And Messi was upset because Obed was having a good game. So that to me is, again, the story.
How do you feel about the way that your team handled after
good.
the win?
The players were good. The players were trying to separate. There were some pretty hot guys there. A lot of young men that were frustrated. There was a lot of men that were trying to protect their own. But I thought our team was trying to break things up.
Brian, well, staying on that topic, I just wanted to get your take on the additional suspensions put by the league, and the fact that a guy like Lionheart gets his credentials taken away the whole year, but a guy like Busquets gets no games, and there's 3 games for Suarez. I mean, there seems to be some inconsistency as far as some things.
Look, just so I'm clear, when you asked me that question about how did we do, I'm talking about the players. Steve understands his new role in the club, and he understands he can't do that, and that's a learning moment for him, and he's going to be better for it. As far as the suspensions for the league and all that sort of stuff, it's out of my control. I mean, it's like the league has to do something. In their opinion, they did something. The Leagues Cup had to sanction things because it was their event. They obviously feel like they did the right thing. And, there's a lot of chatter, and should there be more, should there be less? I don't bother to go into those sometimes, Nico, because it just doesn't, I don't control that. Control the controllables is one of my favorite sayings. And the referees have a hard job. I thought the referee that game did a decent job. I thought he was good. So I just don't comment on that.
At least one more from that match. I know today's about moving forward, but there's a 14-year-old I talked to who's had the privilege to see a lot of sporting events in Seattle. Loves basketball, loves football. Said that match was greatest atmosphere he's ever been around. As somebody that is a little older than 14, that's seen a lot. How special was that? What you saw, and what you felt?
We can talk more about the Miami game because I love talking about it in that sense. I mean, the atmosphere, tremendous. The performance of the team, tremendous. I mean, you're talking earlier to Obed, but he's already got a lot of juice. He's got 100+ games. You don't talk about Osaze. You don't talk about Alex Roldan, who sometimes gets criticized by various groups of people, and he's MVP. And you get the not the goal scoring guy. Pedro was MVP. Alex was MVP of the game. Andrew was the top goalkeeper for the tournament. I mean, there were a lot of good things happening in that game. And the fact that this club still is the connection between fans and players, those players played harder because of the fans, because of the atmosphere. Loved that, the whole Rothrock jersey change, some of that sort of stuff was so good, it just added to it. And then Paul finishing them off, couldn't have scripted a better, louder cheer at the end when I took him off for Kim Kee-hee. I mean, there were so many good points in that game, and what I said in the locker room afterwards, it was one of the biggest moments of my life. It was way up there.
What can a performance like that do in terms of setting you up for the rest of the year, and how do you go about sort of you have the experience with 2022, and how do you sort of avoid that sort of situation?
So internally as a coaching staff, we talked about it. What were the learning curves from 2022. What was the reflection on that season? Longer run up, like more games. There was some things where we started off okay in 2022 right after we'd won, but then we fell off. Why did we fell off? Physical, mental fatigue, all of that stuff. It's a shorter runway. So coaches, we talked about it internally. I've already mentioned it first day back, again this morning, about 7 games to go. Refocusing. The Galaxy being a dangerous opponent. They're going to play young kids that are excited to play, that are playing for jobs. Because Greg played some young guys and Peck's out, and they've got some things. So that's going to be a hungry team, and it makes them a dangerous team. And what also makes them a dangerous team, this was the message I told them, is LA Galaxy is a dangerous team if we're complacent, or if we think that we've already beat them this year and it's just we're gonna show up and we're gonna win. That makes them a dangerous team. So we've been meshing pretty hard and reflecting back internally about 2022 for sure.
And then on the goalkeeper situation, you mentioned Andrew won goalkeeper of the tournament. Steph has been playing well when he's been back in. How do you balance those two players right now?
Hardest decision right now for me is, what are we going to do? Steph has been here for many years, won us a lot of trophies. He was the number one guy. Is he still the number one guy? Yeah, but Andrew could be the number one guy as well. I mean, those guys are such good competitors, such good guys in the goalkeeper union. Steph was so happy for Andrew. You saw all the photos. Andrew is so accepting that he knows that Steph is, coming to the end of his career and my time's coming, and he has some patience, and Steph still wants to compete. That whole scenario is, in my opinion, another just testament to what Tommy does with that group on a daily basis. And it's a tough choice for me.
So it's something that you haven't decided yet as far as
No.
this weekend?
No.
And then what about, we've heard different updates, so as far as JP, Jordan, and Albert being out here today, what is their...
They're all in full training. So again, we're going to wait through tomorrow, Jada, to make sure we get a full injury count, because Pedro's dealing with the tendonitis and JP's a little bit further back than Jordan and Albert. Albert's for sure going to be involved. Jordan, if he can, finalize the last testing, that he gets bumped and he's got to grab and he's got to push. But he's really close. He wants to play. Well, JP, they all want to play, Jada.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes you have to save them from themselves.
When you say he'll be full in, are you saying that Albert can be available
Yes.
Saturday, and
Yes.
then the rest are...
Is that a desire to play what has Jordan relatively? Is he ahead of time? Is he right on time? He feels like he's ahead of time.
I think we were going for Miami Austin week, so it might be a game, but it's really only 3 days. He's ahead by 3 days.
When you look back at your performance as a head coach in Leagues Cup, and just kind of the way you've rotated the entirety of the squad, everything working for you, how do you keep that also moving forward? We talk about the players, but you as a head coach mentally in your study and things like that.
The motivation of the coaching staff is always high. I am a hate to lose type of guy. Brecky might be more on my side as well. Freddie, Andy, Tommy, they like to win. Actually, Tommy hates to lose. We're pretty driven in there. We're driven by a lot of different things because we're different individuals. But the coaching staff has done a tremendous job on helping me make good decisions about lineup choices, their guidance on the bench. It's been a real team effort, and I think we've done a great job.
You have a game coming up clearly, but the Tuesday game in Miami is very close.
Yeah.
There's a lot there, right? I mean, there's the emotions, there is the rotation. How are you preparing for that game?
Well, we're going to prepare for it once we're done with the Galaxy.
And when it comes to that, I mean, the brawl happened, right? Do you feel like the guys that might be more motivated, less motivated?
We'll deal with that after the Galaxy.
You with that though, you gave your players a significant
Time
amount
off.
of time off.
Yep.
Yet, how did they seem to respond to that today? I'm
They're good.
assuming, is this the first
No.
day that you saw everybody? Okay.
We had them Saturday, Sunday, then off Monday, Tuesday.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yesterday was a inside day, not an outside day, so they had Monday off their feet. It's mental recovery, it's physical recovery. MLS is a long season, and we've had a lot of games. We are on track for, this is, I think in our history, the longest season, that we're going to have. Knock on wood, we go through a deep run in the playoffs, but it's a lot of games, and they needed both the physical rest and the mental rest.
So you could tell that they were refreshed then for the first hard day back.
It's another beautiful fall day, and I mean, we're having a good time. Guys are in good spirits, Jada.
One more about Alex, or about Andrew and Steph. You've never rotated two goalkeepers within an MLS, within MLS play. Is that a possibility that you might go back, or do you feel like you need to settle on one?
I will
settle.
I will tell you, I will settle on one. And in my mind, I know kind of where I'm leaning. But it's in the past, I would say, there's competition, and was a competition. Steph's won every, it's real competition, and performances are going to dictate who's going to play.
And fair to say, this is a unique situation that you've faced. Then
It's a unique situation I faced, but I will definitely pick a guy, and we will go with it.
Is there going to be like some sort of also conversations when it comes to when Jordan's back and ready and
We've
Masovsky's
already had
play?
those.
And
I've already had those conversations with Jordan, with Albert, with young Lasaze, with Masowski, who else? With Pedro, Paul. I've had conversations with all the players, just reminding them that the strength of this team is the collective, that the best thing they can do is push their teammates, and if they're not in the group, train hard, be ready for your opportunity. I've had those conversations with everybody, specifically with the guys coming back from injury. They got to show me that they're ready to go. That's a given.
When you're talking about Fry and Andrew, is it a matter of like giving them each a game up here to make that final
Jada,
decision?
since you're pressing me, I'm going to give you this nugget. Okay? I'm going to give you this answer.
Everybody cut
So
your
in my mind, what I'm thinking about is, do we give the group that won a semifinal 2-0 and a final 3-0, so scored 5 goals, kept a clean sheet in 2 straight games, do I give that group another game? Or do they deserve that? Or do I go back and say, well, look, we got 7 games left, and I got to incorporate Jordan and Albert and get back to things? That's my deliberation, and that you guys will see the outcome of that on the weekend.
I wanted to get your takes on Christian Roldan's performance with the national
good.
team.
Really good. I mean, 3-2, the way Potagino put the team up is exactly how Christian fits and plays, and he was good with Adams, just as good. I mean, there's going to be some guys that are negative, but he made one bad pass. Okay, well, the center back made a bad pass they might have scored on. So, look, those kind of things happen, but tactically, you saw Christian understanding when Arfston was higher up the field, coming out here, receiving balls, relieving pressure. His defending, you could see his body language saying, come on, let's press, let's get organized. His leadership skills, I thought Christian had a great game.
Thanks, Coach.
Anything else?